feature and tops, we'll be reviewing the setup process, including form letters and the actual collection code. We'll be looking at processing, a monthly cycle. Also, we'll be talking a little bit about management and reporting for your collection actions. So let's start with setup. And we're working in my sample community to start with. For setup, basically you'll be adding letter templates for your collection actions. So to start that process off, I'm going to click on Admin on the menu on the left-hand side and open the template library. Scrolling down to the related links section, I'm clicking on Template Library. Now, just so you know which letters I'm looking at, basically you can see that the template types, letter, CCR letter, check and statement, I'm viewing my letter section. So you're going to need a form letter or letter template for each one of your collection actions. Now, collection actions will include actions such as late notice, second warning, notice of lien, lien filed. Again, these are specific to your communities. Just to show you an example, I'm going to stay in my letter option here and open up one of my templates. We're going to do the collection first notice. Now, in order for you to see this properly, I'm going to go ahead and download it to Word. You'll see that the letter is available to me at the bottom left-hand corner of my screen after I select download. I'll go ahead and enable editing. Now, this session today, we're not talking a lot about letter templates and the creation of letter templates. However, just so you know that the collection feature in TOPS 1 uses these form letters to notify your homeowners of delinquency. Let me go ahead and turn on the Merge Code Manager. So I'm just selecting my add-ins and bringing that up in the system. One of the reasons I wanted to bring up the Merge Code Manager is I want to talk about the one merge code you'll probably be using in all your collection letters. Let me skip the login. Now, the code I'm talking about is right here, total amount due, and you will find it in your letter option. So I'm selecting the template type of letter and selecting my merge code type as owner activity codes. That's going to be located at the very bottom of your screen. Now, most of your collection letters, or actually all of your collection letters, will very likely include this one code, total amount due. When we run these letters, either for a single homeowner or using the collection feature, it's going to insert the amount of money the homeowner owes as of the specific date. Usually you'll have a paragraph such as you're seeing here, a record show an unpaid balance of, and again, total amount due. Now, there's some other merge codes you may be using in your system, but again, you're usually going to be designing your letters around this merge code. Let me go back to TOPS 1 for a moment, and let's open up a second notice letter. Let me go ahead and download that. Again, very similar to my first notice, except that, again, we're using that total amount due merge code that we insert from the Merge Code Manager, and you can see that this is just a second notice. Our records show an unpaid balance in your account of, again, inserting the total amount due. Just another secondary example, a third example here. I have an intent to lien. Yep, that's the one I need. Let me go ahead and download that. Now, if you're brand new to TOPS 1, you can probably rekey your existing letters and work around that, especially that merge code. My Merge Code Manager closed. Let me go ahead and open that back up and show you where that merge code is. Again, under the letter options, under the category of owner activity codes, and it'll be right at the bottom. So pretty much you're going to be building your letters around your collection policy. Maybe you send a first notice, second notice, maybe an intent to lien, as you see here. And again, I think that merge code is right there. You may have additional letters that you send out. What you want to think about when you're creating these letters is actually the policy, how your community handles those delinquencies with late notice and form letters such as this. Now, for those of you that are creative, there's actually another merge code in here you may want to test. There's an owner statement activity about right in the middle of the screen here. Now, this will insert the actual activity for the statement. I was doing some testing with this earlier, and this will actually produce the actual ledger or history for the homeowner in your letter. So again, if you want to be a little creative with those merge codes, owner statement activity is something that you will want to test if you wanted to include that owner ledger history showing the payments and the charges applied. If you need some more information on letters, or if you don't have existing letters that you're going to be using for the collection policy, you could go to Help in TOPS 1 and look for the Marketplace. That's an area where we have samples for you, as well as that you can share some of your existing templates if you like to. The first step in the collection process is to set up your letters. And again, that's done in TOPS 1 through Administration Template Library. Also note if any of your letters are flagged as email, and I'll scroll down here to one of my letters I'm going to be using. I'll follow first notice over here. This letter will be emailed during the collection process. Once your letters are set up, you can move on to setting up the actual collection code. I'm going to stay in this sample community, so let me go back to the main screen. The actual code is located in the related link code section of your community page. So right now I'm on the community page. You can see it says community at the top. I'm going to scroll down to the related link section and open our codes up. And you'll see that right there in the middle. For those of you that are new to TOPS 1, this is where all your setup codes are for accounts receivable, work orders, CCR, etc. You'll find the collection action code in the AR section. It's called Collection Action. So let's go ahead and look at that setup. I'm going to file the code over to the right-hand side and click on Edit. Now, this code, like any other code, needs an alias, 1 to 10 characters, and a code name. Now, mine is called Admin Fee. Now, even though this is the collection action code, this is associated with a charge. During this process of using the collection module to locate your delinquencies, you can actually add fines to any step in the actions. And basically the name that you see here is going to be the name used for posting to the owner ledgers for any fees that are charged to the collection process. So if you wanted to add another descriptive name besides admin fees, you could call it collection admin fees or collection fee. That, again, is associated with any fees that you charge during the collection process. And we'll be looking at the setup of that in a moment. So you need a code alias. Now, I just called mine 03. You could call it something else, 1 to 10 characters, and then your code name for any associated fees. Now, this community is set up for accrual accounting. So my linked accounts, again, these will be accounts used for charging of any fees in the collection process. Basically, I've inserted an income account and a receivable. For those of you using cash accounting or set up for cash accounting, you'll only be adding an income account here. If you do not charge any fees in your collection process, you still need to set them up in the system as you see here. I'm going to scroll down a bit and try to get as much on the screen as possible. Now, basically what we're going to be setting up first is the collection action process. Then we'll be looking at the special hold categories. In the process, I've added one line. And again, what you're doing here is defining your collection process. This is set up for on a community by community basis, and you could add as many actions as needed. Now, if we follow this one, the first one I have in here called late notice, you'll notice that I have a number of days. Now, it shows 15. That's the number of days delinquent. So in this community, a homeowner needs to be 15 days late before I will take this action. Let me edit that. I can also add a minimum amount due. So for example, the homeowner would need to be 15 days delinquent and owe more than $1 before this action is taken. Now, when I say action, I'm talking about a letter. And under the documents section is where you'll see all the templates that were added in the template library. So what you're setting up here is the delinquency policy, 15 days late, owe more than $1. And then if the homeowner meets those requirements, this letter will be sent out. Now, to show you how to add a new one, I'm going to go ahead and click on Add. And in this community, let me go ahead and see if I can get that added here. We also have a second notice. I'm going to put a more detailed description in here. I'm going to put the number of days the homeowner needs to be delinquent. Again, I'll put an optional amount here for a dollar amount. Notice that you can toggle this to percent also, just clicking on the blue option there. So it can either be put in as a dollar amount or percentage of assessment. And I'm going to leave fee blank for this one. And again, selecting my letter. I'm going to add third notice here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a description, put my amount of days. Now on this one, I'm going to put a minimum amount due of $25. And I'm going to add a fee. Now remember, this is going to be posted as an admin fee when you take this action. So this could be used, for example, for charging the homeowner. Let's say this final notice is set out certified. It's a fee that you're charging the homeowner to take this action. So I'm going to go ahead and select my intent to lien. Again, I'm clicking on add. Now, if you need to make changes, you have your little pencil on the right-hand side, or there's also a garbage can if you wanted to delete an action. So unlimited number of action steps are available. And again, you're defining your collection process. Now, at the bottom, there's another section. It's called hold category. Now, at some point in a collection process, a homeowner may get sent to an attorney or some other action where you're no longer managing the collection process. In this case, you can add a hold category. An example of this would be to attorney. And I'm going to make this 1 day more than my last action. You can see my intent to lien was 75. This is going to be 76. And I'm going to leave the minimum amount due as 0 and the fee is 0. Now, this is wrapping kind of strange on the system right now. I reported this to development. This letter should be under document over here. But basically, you can see here, I can select a letter, but this is going to be a no letter action. Now, when I make put a homeowner in a hold category, they will no longer get letters. You can also turn off late fees or statements, any other actions that you need to do. So that hold category is placed on a homeowner when they're really out of that collection process, out of your hands, and being taken care of, for example, an attorney. Let me go ahead and add that. Now, you can add unlimited hold categories. So your first one is going to be the next action you take after the others in the collection process. Additional actions can be set up. For example, you may have a payment plan. These homeowners would have worked out a payment plan with you, and they're no longer being processed for collections. Very likely they're not paying their full amount due. Let's go ahead and set that up too. Now I'm going to push this out to like 999 days because this is not a regular action step. This is something that I would manually add to a homeowner. So remember, anybody that gets in these hold actions will no longer be processed in the collections. Again, this is a no letter action. I'll go ahead and add that. Now, those hold actions are not required in the system. Basically, you can work with the collection process as is, and these are optional action steps at the very bottom. Homeowners will be forced into these actions, and they will stay in those action steps, again, not being processed for collections until you remove these categories from the homeowner account. So the collection process revolves around setting up your templates, adding your collection action steps, reflecting your delinquencies in the community, 15, 45, 35 days, 10, 20, 30 days, however your collection process is, setting up minimum amounts and any fees involved. And again, those hold categories are optional, and those can be used for homeowners to, again, remove them from the collection process by putting that hold on that property. And again, that can be used for if a homeowner is sent to attorney, on a payment plan, maybe you have a community-owned property you want to keep out of the collection process. Again, this is up to your special needs. Now, we're going to be looking at reporting once we complete the processing. And again, all this information will be available to you on reports. So let me go ahead and save this. basically just warning me that I'm saving and making changes. Now, I'm going to actually switch into a separate community because this one is set up for processing. So I'm in Highland Lakes now, and I just want to go ahead and look at the collection actions. Just edit that so you can see how this one was set up. Let me go down and show you the table itself. So again, I have the 3 actions we talked about. I have the optional code categories. For processing, we're going to go to the menu on the right-hand side and go to Accounts Receivable and go to Collections. Now, to start the process, either click on Collections right on the screen, or there's an action option also for Collections. You can see my last posting was 9/16. I'm going to go ahead and just open the collection process. Now, first thing you need to do is select a date. Now, in this community, my homeowners are delinquent after 15 days. This is a monthly community, so I'm going to process this every month. So I processed on 9/16 or September 16. I'm ready to do October. Again, my homeowners are delinquent on the 15th, so I'm going to run this as of the 16th. So I'm actually adding a day to my delinquent homeowners. If homeowners were delinquent on the 10th of the month, you would use the 11th day. So again, add 1 for the effective date for those delinquent homeowners. Now you will see the collection actions and the hold categories that I have. Now, notice that you're only seeing 1 hold category. Basically, the system is set up is that TOPS will process that first hold category if selected in the collection process. Any of these, including the hold actions, can be removed or toggled off. So if I wanted to process just late notices, the system would process the late notice action against my homeowners and only produce that letter. But normally you're going to be selecting all your actions, and what you're doing is looking at the homeowner delinquencies as of your effective date, in this case 10/16, and the system is going to look at your minimum days delinquent, in this case 15, 45, or 75, the minimum amount, and qualifying your homeowners into whatever actions they would fit into with respect to number of days and total amount due. Now, you can also select, again, that first hold action category, and if a homeowner fits into that action information, 76 days delinquent, owes more than $25, it'll also process that. So again, it's going to look at all your homeowner delinquencies, and if they're delinquent, select the right action step for them. Now, you also have a couple little options here on the right-hand side. Select codes. Now, the default is delinquency based on assessment codes, and only any assessments will be selected. And that's normally the best practice. So when it's looking at delinquent homeowners, it's only looking at the balances for the selected assessment codes. Now, you could definitely include balances for late fee, admin fee, attorney fee, any of your work order charges or fines. I'm going to put this back to the default. So again, you could select which delinquencies are used for the collection process. The edit codes option, I'm not going to select that. That's just going to actually take you into the codes page. So you could actually go ahead and make adjustments to the collection status code or any other code. All right, so let's go ahead and accrue. Now, accrue is, again, going to create a work file. It's not posted yet, and I'm going to click on accrue. So this is an accrued job. We have not yet posted it. You can see that we don't have any fees yet, so there's no posting to the general ledger with the existing accrual. And if we scroll down, you're going to see all the owners, basically showing the number of days delinquent, the amount balance, last action if there was one, and the proposed step. Now, the proposed step is what letter is going to be processed with if we post these transactions. Now, I only have a small community here, but I can go page to page at the bottom. Also, we have a filter. I could change the filter order. There's also a magnifying glass for searching. I'll go ahead and click on address A to Z. Again, that just reordered my accrual. A really nice feature here, if you wanted to see more information about a homeowner, you can simply click on it and it's going to open in a new tab. So basically, I still have my accrued collection transactions and I have a new tab where I can actually go in and review this owner balance and history. I'm going to go back to the other tab. Now, I just did a single left click. You can also right click on anything that's underlined here, and again, open link a new tab. If you didn't catch what I did left click, but you could also right click and open in a new tab. And you could do that with as many homeowners as you like. I'll go ahead and just open this one up. And again, you can see how that process works. A great option if you want to review that homeowner information before posting. Other options available here, basically you can edit any transaction. Now we haven't posted yet, but for example, if I wanted to remove this homeowner from the list, I could actually delete or cancel. Right now they do the same thing. They remove the transaction totally from the screen. The checkbox will actually save your changes. Besides delete and cancel, I can also change the action step. So if I wanted to send this homeowner, for example, he's at a second notice, I want to send him a late notice. You can see how easy that is to change. And again, select the save option. When you're ready to go, you notice you do have some action options. Add a comment, add a task. There's also a print preview. Now again, we haven't posted, so let's print preview this collection process. Again, opening in a new tab, and if we wanted to print this, we definitely could. Collection Action Preview Report. Let's go back to the tab with the collection process. So when we're ready to go, we're actually going to post this. Now, the post is going to do several things. Basically, it's going to update the homeowner record. So if a homeowner has a late fee notice or a second notice or a notice of lien, it's going to actually flag that homeowner with that collection action. If there was any admin fees involved, it would post those admin fees. And of course, it's going to produce a letter. So let's go ahead and post. Now, this message comes up, generate one letter per property owner address. Now, if you leave it at yes, it's going to create a letter for all the property addresses on the homeowner account. So he had a property address and an alternate address, it would generate 2 letters. No will only send this letter to the primary address. Also remember that these letters will be emailed if the homeowner is set up for email correspondence. I'll just hit yes here. So here's our collection status, apply admin fee, and it says posted. This is basically your posted process. So at this point, it is completed. Notice the options. There's a print report. Also, you can actually delete the batch totally from here. We have again, accounting summary. We didn't have any admin fees posted in this batch. But we'll go ahead and click on where it says late notice, 3 properties. And I don't know if the letters are done yet, but we'll find out soon. So basically, the transaction summary is showing you the letters that were generated for each grouping for your actions. There's our late notice. There's our 30-day notice. Now, for each one of these transaction summaries, you can actually print reports. I'm going to click on Print Reports, a small icon on the right-hand side. And this is going to show you a listing of the homeowners in that transaction summary group. If I go back to the main screen, again, I'm going to close some of these reports before I move on. So again, print reports, print letters are the 2 options for each transaction group. Now, let me check my little bell at the top of the screen. I have a notification that the batch is complete. So let's go ahead and close that. So our letter should be available. I'm going to click on, not let me do that yet. They're not all done. While we're waiting for these reports to get completed, let me show you what happened with the homeowners. I'm going to actually close this page and go to Portfolio and go to Properties. And I think one of these homeowners should have a delinquency notice. Let me check. We're on the property screen. Also, you note that this is showing collections to attorney. So this is one of the action steps that were taken. Also, if we go back to the homeowner page, again, Joseph, the property owner name, you'll also see that on that screen. On both screens, the property and the owner. I'm going back to the property screen. Also, you'll see that collection option under Edit Property. And again, you'll see it in the collection status. So it'll show on the property screen, and also you'll be able to edit that if needed. I'm going to go back and select a different homeowner. Let me change this search so I can find that. I'm going to go look for owners to find the homeowner I'm looking for. So again, you'll see second notice at the top of the screen. Also, it will be available in the edit. If we go back to the property, which is 46 Magnolia, you'll see that there. And again, it'll be noted at the top of the screen as well as in the summary screen. I'm going to click on Reports and go to Standard Reports. You'll see this information for the collection under Collection Status Report. You'll find that under Accounts Receivable and under the Collection Status. Sorry, I'm going to change my date to October 31st. So again, you'll see that status here for each one of those delinquent owners where this was posted. If you wanted to see a specific charge code at the top, you'll see the option for charge code. If you wanted to see delinquencies, for example, only for A1 assessments, you could do so. And I'll just click on Apply to activate that. Again, if you wanted to see a specific charge, for example, delinquencies for a special assessment, I'll go ahead and click on Apply. Let me click back on All and Apply, and I'll go ahead and export this for you. And again, we have the same export options from all the reports, PDF, Excel, and Word. I'll leave it at PDF, and we'll go ahead and click on Apply to get a copy of that in front of us. So the actions that were taken will appear on the property and owner record, as well as the reporting option. This status report is a good option to let your board members know that you are what actions you're taking for those delinquent owners. Let me go back to TOPS 1 and see if our process is done for our letters. I'm going to go back to Accounts Receivable and click on Collection. Let's see if we can get that updated here. I'm working with a future date, so I need to use my future date filter. And we're going to go ahead. It looks like I got some other accruals in here. We're working with this top option, AR14144. And again, I open that by clicking on that transaction number. Again, this reopens the batch, and to print the letters, I would simply open the letters up, and you would see the print letter option. Clicking on print letter. Again, these would need to be printed for each action. Here's our late notice. Remember that total amount due merge code. Again, we got several pages of these. Again, I'll late notice. If I go back into TOPS 1, I can open up the section for second notice. Again, printing letters. Total amount due merge code right here. It looks like I need a little work on my letters. Should be another one down here. There we go. And the last option was the notice of lien, I believe. So let's minimize that second notice and go into the attorney action or sent to attorney. Looks like I didn't have any liens. We were actually those the homeowner that was actually put into that attorney action. And again, there's no letter here. Just to show you, if I open up late notice, and again, I'm just going to select one of the homeowners here. Just clicking to open that homeowner. You'll see that the late notice option is on the actual screen. Again, he would appear on the report. I'm going to go back into the codes and talk a little bit about those hold actions. Again, I'm on the community page and the related links at the bottom and going into codes. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the collection action code with edit. And let's scroll down so we can see the actions and the hold categories. So we saw how the system used these dates, minimum amounts to define which action we needed to take for each homeowner. Also, we saw how the first action in the hold setup can be used in the collection process, automatically putting that homeowner on a hold. Now, again, I talked about we can add additional hold actions, such as payment plan. You might want to add one community owned. I've even seen clients use researching. Let me show you how these other hold actions can be used. Let me go back to portfolio, and let's go ahead and go back into properties. Actually, I want to go to owners so I can find the homeowner I'm looking for. And we'll just open this homeowner on the screen. Now, this homeowner has a second notice. Now, that can be changed. If I go to actions, I'm sorry, I need to get to the property record. From the property record, again, I'm on property record. I'm going to click on actions and edit. Now, each month or each quarter when you reprocess collections, this status is going to be replaced. So pretty much next month, if I run collections again and this homeowner is still delinquent, he's probably going to be moved to a final notice and get a $25 fine. So there's really no need to edit this if you're processing collections regularly. The system, when you process, is going to put the right action step in your collection status whenever you process. Now, there could be a time where you wanted to change this. I could always just change this to a late notice. Not necessarily something you want to do, but it can be changed. The reason I wanted to bring this up is this is also where you can set those holds. So let's say I have a homeowner and I just have tops and I didn't run them through the collection process. I could automatically force them to attorney. Now, this is going to hold that homeowner collection so he will not be processed again. So I can actually change or force someone into a specific status. Now, there's other holds here too. I could actually put a hold payment on a homeowner. And again, this could be part of your collection process. For example, if the homeowner is sent to an attorney, the attorney has instructed you not to receive any payments. Hold payment will notify you if you try to do a manual cash receipt. It is also part of the bank validation file in some cases. So this would notify your bank not to accept lockbox payment, for example. Again, that's specific to the banks. I could hold any additional delinquency letters. I could hold a statement. I could hold interest. Now, this is interesting because this will actually keep that homeowner from accruing interest. And also the late fee process. So again, these other flags, which aren't really necessary, are not requirements, can be part of your collection process in some cases. And again, a perfect example, if I send a homeowner to an attorney, I could actually turn those on or on. So to edit or change collection action or to force a homeowner into a hold action, that's done. Let me go ahead and save this. Again, from the property record, actions, and edit property. Just to do one more, let me go ahead and go back to the owner list. And I'll just grab one of these homeowners with a positive balance here. We'll pick on someone here. Let me select the owner. And again, going back to the property record, 42 Magnolia. If I edit the property, so let's say the homeowner has worked with you and is now on a payment plan. This is one of our secondary hold actions. So I can actually force the homeowner into that payment plan. And I probably wouldn't include any of these other hold options. Now, again, this homeowner has really been removed from the collection process. I'll go ahead and save that for you. So that's the basics of the collection process. One final thing I wanted to note is I always get the question, when do I use the collection process? When do I accrue and post? Pretty much you want to think of your AR processing cycle. On the first of the month, the first of the quarter, you accrue those charges, so apply those assessment fees. At that point, at one point, your homeowners are delinquent. It could be the 10th, it could be the 15th, maybe for quarterly, it's the 30th. So you want to make sure at that point that you apply any late fees or interest. So apply the regular scheduled charges, apply your late fee, apply your interest. Also, you want to make sure that all your owner payments have been posted. So again, you have a regular cycle. When you've applied the late fees, applied interest, make sure all payments are posted. This is when you would run collections. Because remember that your merge code you're used in your letters is total amount due. You want that homeowner total amount due to include everything to date. So in my monthly example, on the 15th of the month, I would apply my late fees, I would apply my collections, make sure all my owner payments are received, and then I would accrue and post collections. I'm actually going to go up to the login option here and show you the help content for this. Again, if I just go into the login option, click on help. I'm just back into our new knowledge base. Now, I wanted to bring this to your attention. This has just been revised about 2 weeks ago, so all new content. But if I click on collections, you can see the article, and this is just a brand new document for this. Basically, you see the processing collections. I could view this or print this. Also, let me hit the back button here. There's an option for reporting. And also, you need some help with the form letters. There'll be documents available for that. And again, the help is available from the login icon in top 1.